I want to make a follow-up video to my last video where I said I hate my Adidas Powerlifts and won't wear them anymore. Got a lot of people asking me why I felt this way, wanted my opinion on it, and even though I answered in the comment section, thought a video would be just as easy as well. And to be honest, I think a lot of people out there own the shoe and like the shoe and want to know why I don't. Or maybe they're looking at buying a pair but have really kind of second-guessed their decision after what I've said, which is kind of flattering to think that my opinion can sway someone's purchasing decision. But I really want to emphasize here that these are my opinions and solely my opinions. Yes, that's a shoe pun for you. And another shoe pun for you is, I too was in your shoes at one point, meaning I was faced with the same decision. And obviously I went with the Powerlifts initially, and I loved them at first. In fact, I'll link my initial review of them from several years back in the description box below. I had nothing but good things to say about them. And when it comes to buying your first pair of weightlifting shoes, I think many of us go with the Powerlifts and many of us stick with the Powerlifts throughout our lifting career. Now, I think a big reason behind that is the fact that they're more moderately priced at just $90 in comparison to some of the more expensive options like Adipowers and Romaleos, which are like $200. While moderate at $90, that's still pretty freaking expensive. And given how we wear them, which is typically in the gym, so we keep them in a gym bag or a locker or a closet and only put them on when we train, then take them right back off, you're going to get a lot of use out of them. So you're never really ever going to have that point in time where they fall apart and you need to buy a second pair. And again, because they're so expensive, most of us wouldn't buy a redundant pair. So for the average male, you're only going to have one pair of heeled shoes in your life, unless of course your name's Caitlyn Jenner, but that's a different story. So for me, I loved them at first, and it wasn't until I used some of the disposable income I get from YouTube to buy the Adipowers and Romaleos that I really realized what I was missing. And again, it's really tough to kind of convey this to someone who has the Powerlifts or doesn't have a squat shoe at all in general to reference. I kind of relate it to when I first got my Powerlifts, I loved them so much because what I was used to squatting in was either Nike Frees or Chuck Taylors. And to be honest, the night and day difference between those and the Powerlifts are like the night and day difference I feel between the Powerlifts and the Adipowers or Romaleos. Again, my opinion only. And if you have the Powerlifts, it's a very interesting thing because right now, if you have no frame of reference, you're probably thinking that the heel is very thick, solid, tight, sturdy, and it definitely feels that way in comparison to what you're used to using. But for me now, going from the Adipowers to the Powerlifts, which I tried to do just to get some use out of them in the past, I feel so unstable. The heel actually feels really squishy to me, and it's just not worth wearing, in my opinion, which is why I said that I just won't wear them anymore. And I hate them just because now they're a $90 thing that's in my closet collecting dust. So it's not really a good investment, in my opinion. I'm really trying to enforce my opinion here because I know a lot of elite lifters that actually lift a lot more than I do, and they prefer the Powerlifts over the Adipowers or something else. Now, some of that has to do with the heel height itself. The Powerlifts obviously have a 0.6 inch of a heel height. The Adipowers and Romaleos are 0.75 of an inch. But for me, what it really comes down to is the construction materials used in the shoe. I just feel overall the Adipowers and Romaleos are superior, and that's why I stick with them. Now, my opinions to those of you out there, if you're using the Powerlift currently and you're happy with them, there's no real reason to upgrade, as again, the other shoes are very expensive, and you're probably not going to have any issues with Powerlifts, and also you might not know what you're missing necessarily. But if you're looking to buy a new pair of shoes, I would actually really encourage you to save up for it and go with the more expensive shoes, only because you're only likely to buy one pair, and in my opinion, the other ones are just superior. Hope that makes sense. Hope it gives you some context. If you have other questions around this, obviously feel free to leave me some questions in the comment section below. I'm sure there's other shoes out there that are kind of a hybrid of cost and are just as effective. I'm just going off of one man's opinion, one extremely handsome man. So I'll catch you next time. As always, thanks for watching and stay big.